I think we should be live. Let me check that real quick. Yes, we are. Perfect. Okay, I can see already people joining in. That's very good. Welcome everyone to this, post-TGE Special AMA. I think you guys are probably aware by now that we do a monthly AMA, usually always at the beginning of a new month to talk about what happened in the last month and to give you guys an opportunity to, ask your questions, get answers to anything where you feel you have uncertainties or need to have things clarified. But we felt it's actually time to do a special AMA that is out of the ordinary rhythm, because we just concluded TGE actually on Monday this week. The ONO token is live, which is very exciting news. So it felt like it's a good time to actually do a post-TGE special AMA, and this is exactly what it is. So for anybody tuning in for the first time, I'll give you a quick rundown on how our logic is typically and how we conduct these AMA sessions, and then also on the topics that we're going to be covering. So very brief overview. Basically, we have some topics that we put on the agenda, and we would be going through these topics and talk a bit about that, share it with you guys, and just give you some insights. And this is our part, obviously, and you guys in the audience can ask questions whenever you want to. We see them in the chat, so we have the information on questions that are being asked. Anytime in the chat, we will then try to answer your questions to the best of our possibilities. If we feel that a question is suitable at this specific topic that we are discussing in that time, obviously we'll ask it we will answer it right away. If we feel that it might be more relevant for a later point in time, we will get back to you later. Over the last couple of AMAs that we've had, I think it was 7 in total so far, so now is kind of the 8th one, special episode. We've, I think, always been actually able to answer all the questions. So I'm positive that we can do this as well today. So feel free to drop your questions into the chat whenever you want to. You can ask them on Twitter, you can ask them on YouTube, and also on LinkedIn. We will try to also monitor the Discord server in the meantime. So if you are in the general chat in the Discord, you can also ask your questions there. We try to answer everything to the best of our possibilities. Now, on the topics, what we wanted to talk about today, we have 5 main topics. Obviously, we want to give you a recap of the TGE. So what just happened, right? What was the TGE? How did it happen? How do we feel about it? These kind of things. That's where Tommy is going to talk about. Then we have the BONO to ONO conversion. So for all the miners that were already active pre-TGE, this is extremely relevant. Lucy will be showing that to us. Then also we will be talking about the claiming process from the pre-sale that we conducted via Pink Sale over the last week, and we will be talking about the new ONO Rewards, because now obviously ONO is live, so miners don't get rewarded anymore in the BONO token, but now in the ONO token. And we want to show you what's changed. And then also we will be talking about the roadmap ahead, because we see TGE not as, let's say, the end goal, so to say, but really as one of the key milestones. But obviously now things are really going to be moving forward, and we need to show that we are building a viable business and what our plans for the future are. Now, before we go into these topic areas, I would, like everyone from us, to introduce to you who they are, because it might be that not everybody knows who everybody is. So maybe, Daniel, you can start today and give us a short intro on who you are, what do you do at onocoy, what's your responsibility area?
Sure. Daniel Ammann. I'm the initiator of the project. Started with that idea 3.5 years ago. My main role here at onocoy is I'm looking after the long-term strategy, maybe the thought leadership, if you want, but I'm also quite technical. So I'm doing things here and there, more on the GPS side of things. I have a long history in GPS, been doing a first startup already in the 90s, which then did chips for GPS, which are in many different applications in millions of devices. So that's me. Over to
Perfect.
Tommy.
Okay, I'm Tommy. I'm also one of the old guys from the GPS GNSS industry. Spent a considerable amount of time with the same startup Daniel co-founded. And I'm at onocoy, say more looking after the non-technical aspects, organizational, the commercial aspects, and particularly I was overlooking the TGE.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Lucy.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Lucy. My background is in GNSS, so I've worked at the university before. So by the time Danny founded his first company, I was still in kindergarten. Sorry, I don't want to make you feel old. So,
Thank you.
yeah, I've joined onocoy like 2.5 years ago. So yes.
Perfect. Okay, my name is Dominic. I'm VLVT, call it Velvet, in the Discord server and also in the Telegram. And I support onocoy with the marketing and community activities. And I have the honor of hosting this AMA. I don't have a topic on my own today, actually, but that's okay. Maybe we come up with something which I can talk about as well. But,
I will have ask the question for you.
See,
but I think the community will ask it anyway. So
yeah. That's perfect. Good. Okay, then I would say we don't wait too much longer. Just a quick recap for anybody that joined in. In the meantime, feel free to ask your questions in the chat at any point in time. We try to answer them. We will be going through some of the topics that we have on our list. And yeah, you can ask right away, or you can ask the question whenever it pops in your mind. And we try to answer these questions. And we would be starting today with the first topic area, which is obviously a very, important one for us, which is the TGE and specifically a recap on the TGE. And the whole team was heavily involved in the TGE. Everybody was, outdoing themselves and spending long evenings in the office working on TGE, preparing everything. Obviously, that was not just the time frame of 1 week, but the whole months ahead, a lot of months ahead actually, went into making this TGE work. And Tommy was leading that. So Tommy, maybe you can give us an overview of how you perceive TGE, what actually happened, what was the timeline, what was the details on Monday that actually happened, and where do we stand right now?
Yeah, also, well, I think I mentioned it before. Our primary focus with the TGE was to get the deep-in flywheel in motion. That's the key driver. It wasn't so much about raising a lot of funds, but it's really, we need this deep-in flywheel to really spin to get to the next development level, building out the community and then driving also the sales side, the revenue side of the business. Now, there is a long history. It built up. We actually shot for a TGE much earlier, but then we ran into this regulation issue in Switzerland, which forced us to do this minor adjustment on the tokenomics. And with this done, we were sort of ready to go now into TGE this summer. So I would say I separate the entire process into 3 phases. There are 4 phases. There's a long preparation phase, weeks to months, obviously. Actually, months is the correct term. Many months with getting a legal opinion, etc., putting everything in place, starting the community build out, etc., etc. So there's a long preparation phase. But once we really kicked the process off, the first step was to welcome the community as part of a community pre-sale. the last time we had this AMA, was it about 3 weeks ago? Something like that. We were just about to go into it. We tried an earlier one with BoardPad, as you've noticed, which we then stopped. And we took the lessons out of that. We did much more on our own marketing, added more KOLs, did more of our own communications, and we focused specifically the narrative and the target audience to people from the deep in market. So we learned clearly, if we go super broad, people don't understand our story, the business, they don't see the value in it. But if we take it more into the narrower deep in space, people can really appreciate what we do, and they catch on, they understand the message. And as a result of this, we did, in our opinion, a pretty successful pre-sale. I think we ended up at about 736 sold, which was not necessarily at the end of our dreams, but certainly above our expectation. And in that sense, it was really, really successful, and that certainly helps us now in going forward. We used the Pink Cell platform. It's a generic platform, and we originally anticipated that we do fulfillment there, but we clearly learned during the process that the fulfillment there is not up to our expectation. So that's why we then switched to Streamflow, because that really is a platform that allows people to claim things, but it also allows us to do this 10% unlock immediate and then the vesting. This we would not have been able to do over Pink Sale. That's why we migrated it. And as far as I have observed the progress, people really understood how we do this, and quite a number of people have already claimed the first 10%, but by far not everybody. But once we've well communicated that, I think it went pretty smooth. And as after a first few questions on Monday, I think virtually no more questions answered. So that seems to go really, really well. Preceding the fulfillment of this was the actual token generation event. Obviously, until Monday, we did all the rewarding in BONO tokens. So we had to switch the engine in the background. We had to update the UI. We had to turn upgrade the smart contracts from the BONO rewarding to the ONO visualizing. But then we also, of course, claimed all the unclaimed bonus. So no bonus were lost. We made sure of that. And they were sent to the individual's registered wallet, so they're there. And then we also opened the BONO to ONO swap tool, which we explained before, and which we go into more details with Lucy afterwards. But that has also worked. I have seen that people are using that tool, but I also understand that quite a number of people still haven't done it, which is actually, in our opinion, quite wise. It's wise from a project perspective, but it's also wise because the rewarding will be much better, or the swap rate the longer you wait. So my interpretation is that this has been widely understood, both the tool but also the concept behind it. So I take this also as a positive sign. And yes, once the token generation event was done, so the token, we switched everything to ONO. We obviously also had to list the token. And while we were still in the final preparation state, obviously some of you have already noticed this, and trading started before we officially announced it. But no harm in that, so that's fine. But I can tell you Monday was a very intense day with first technical update, then the listing, then the communication. But overall, I would say we learned a lot. It was intense, but the preparation was good enough such that we didn't have a major obstacle. Well, we had obstacles, but we were prepared for most of them, and everything was overcome within a reasonably short time. So yes, intense, but we're glad having passed that, and now we're alive. And I think, as Dominic said, this is not the goal, but that's more the stepping stone for future growth.
Yeah, I thought also it was really cool. It was
yes.
really cool on Monday to see, like, on the Discord, messages coming in, people seeing that, hey, something is going on. I think we're moving towards TGE. That was exciting.
Yeah, I remember that as well. Obviously, we didn't communicate it at that point in time. We did a little bit of a, I don't want to say stealth launch because that's actually not correct, but we wanted to make sure that everything really works the way it's supposed to work before really communicating it. So we noticed that some people already were very early and detected things very early on, which was absolutely okay. So we hope you can forgive us for not reacting to that at that point in time, but for waiting to have everything really in place and make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to work before communicating it really. Okay, yeah.
Maybe if you give me one more thing. While the actual token launch and all the preceding TGE and communication pre-sales event are done, we're still finishing off a number of smaller tasks, like registering us on all the different pages like CoinGecko, etc. One of the lessons learned here is that's quite tedious work and definitely more effort than necessary. As a result, you will see a market cap equaling the FDV on many, if not all, of these pages. That's a question of time until we fix that. So I'm in the midst of doing that. Needless to say that the market cap at FDV is complete nonsense from a practical point, and this will be corrected. I have seen that some of you commented on that. That's a fair comment. It made me increase the priority on that. And yes, it's work in progress. Maybe a last word on FDV. In our opinion, and I think we have made that clear, FDV is a very theoretical concept for a DPIN, which has a token release of schedule over 10 and more years. So looking at all the tokens is in a way a bit pointless because we're burning tokens before all of them are released. So we anyway never get to 100% free float. And as I mentioned before, the unlock schedules in mining, in community grants, in rewarding, everything, that is so slow that we don't even have all the tokens in 10 years. And that's good because we don't want to vanish from this planet in 10 years. So we're a long-term project. So intentionally done this way, but if any of the figures is relevant, then I think market cap and the release schedule are more relevant than an FDV. Cannot force this view on everybody, but that's clearly how we look at the world and these parameters. And yeah, that's also why we put some emphasis now on updating the market cap figures and the free float on the various pages.
Yeah. Thanks for this. Then I checked on the questions. I don't think there's a question directly related to this. So I would suggest, I see some questions in there, guys. Don't worry, they're not forgotten or overseen, but I think it's probably not the right time to answer them, but probably rather at a later point in time. So I would continue with Lucy, you, and I think you have two topics, both the BONO to ONO conversion, how that actually works, and also the claiming process from the pink sale pre-sale.
Yes, exactly. So where should we start first? With the pre-sale?
What do you prefer?
Okay, so because Tommy already touched on the pre-sale, I think we can go there first. So if you have purchased in the pre-sale, first of all, thanks a lot. Very much appreciated. And then if you now want to claim them, you would have to go to Streamflow. So let me show how I recommend on doing this.
You can share your screen, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So here, I'm here in the onocoy documentation on the page onocoy pre-sale on pink sale. Now the first section was on how to participate. That's already over. So we switch over to how to claim. And here you will find the link to the Streamflow website. So I'll go there instead. And now if you're here, first of all, you should connect your wallet. There it is. And then if you go to payments, you should see a list of your things that you I thought it's in here. Sorry guys. So let's take a look again. So the first step is go to the Streamflow website and then view your contracts. This should be in the vesting or payment section. So yeah, I checked it right before this session. So actually it was there. Anyway, let's or here
Check
maybe.
on AirDrop.
Aha, okay, here it is. Okay, yeah, then
It's under airdrops for.
yeah, I found it. I think you should be able to see it, right?
Yeah.
So in here you will find then the claim button. And what you can do with this is to see how many tokens you can claim now and how many you purchased in total. So because we have the 10% is unlocked right away, and then every day 1% will be unlocked. That means after 90 days you would be able to claim all the tokens at once. So that's why you can claim now only a percentage of the total number. But then you just go to claim, confirm everything, go to your wallet, confirm everything in there, and then you should see it in your wallet. I didn't do it now. That's why you see it. It didn't. Yeah. So yeah, that's how you claim your tokens from the pre-sale. Any questions?
I think there are some questions. I'm not sure. I think you didn't mention on how the vesting works, right?
Yeah, so it's a 1% daily vesting. That means at the beginning you will get 10%, and then every day 1% will be released. So doing the math, it means after 90 days you will have all the tokens claimable. Yeah. But I think if I'm right, then after those 90 days you will get those tokens transferred to your wallet automatically. Is that correct?
I'm not sure if that's automatically. Tommy, do you know that?
I doubt it. As far as you have, I mean, at least one claim. I think you have to do. Ideally, obviously, at the end.
I think so too. I think one claim you have to do. Keep in mind there are some fees on Streamflow for each claim because it's a transaction. So it would be wise to, you don't have to claim on a daily basis, right? You can just wait until either you feel like now is a good time or until the end of the 90 days, and then you can claim your complete pre-sale part and only pay one-time transaction fees. So that is actually something that we probably would recommend, but obviously that's up to you individually. So there was one question asked as well. Oh no, actually that's not the right point in time. Let me check that. I think the first part of this question could be related to what will happen with unsold ONO tokens. Is that related? I'm not entirely sure.
I think so.
I'm not.
I think it's it's related to the question: what will happen to the tokens that are not sold on pink sale?
if this is the question, then they are available for further investments, be it VC, largely VC, but large over-the-counter deals. So that is they're not lost, they're not burned, they're just in the treasury, but they're certainly not part of the free float.
Okay. If we're already at that part, and you guys can see the other questions, I'm just checking also on our agenda for the other topics. I would say probably it might make sense to answer these questions right away. So on question 2, what will be the max circulating token supply for ONO within the next 12 to 24 months? And do you plan on getting listed on any centralized exchanges? Tommy, I would assume that's probably best with you.
Yes, I can take both of them. The number of the maximum circulating supply within 1 year is 20%, and after 2 years it's 46.5%. After 10 years it's 90%. So you see it's very slow growth that fits an infrastructure rollout. Now this you can also see in the documentation created by Lucy. We do have the chart shown there how this works. Bear in mind that's before we burn any tokens. Now this third question, whether we plan to get listed on centralized exchanges, it is on the long-term roadmap, but not on the short-term roadmap. We first need to see substantial volumes in trading to make it worthwhile to go on a centralized exchange. Otherwise, we pay large listing fees just to be kicked out after a few months. So that's something all of you probably have heard that this has happened. There is no point in doing this. So we build momentum and then we go there.
Yeah, I'd say so as well. One thing that has been asked also in the meantime is this question, which is also related to the pre-sale. What is the reason only unlock 1% daily who bought ONO in pre-sale? So yeah, why only 1% daily unlock? Also, Tommy, I guess that's probably best with you.
Well, ultimately, it's the stability of the token launch. Cold starting a token is a sensitive event, and if we do this careful, we avoid a large overshooting and then an undershooting of the token price. So it essentially fits a deep in approach. So it's like in a way a low pass filter to everything, and but in total it's 3 months and there is an immediate unlock. So we felt that's quite a reasonable thing. We didn't want to apply 6 or 9 months or anything that's excessive, but 100% unlock on day 1, that would that just leads to spikes in both, and that doesn't help us and also our retail investors, because if we have these spikes, that just undermines the confidence into the project without.
I think so too. Also, if you take a look, maybe just that from my perspective, if you take a look at a lot of other pre-sales, typically the vesting periods are longer. So the 1% daily is already a pretty low vesting period. It's very reasonable from our perspective. So yeah, that is virtually the reason. Then Lucy, you have another topic, which is the BONO to ONO conversion.
Yeah, exactly. So BONO to ONO. So this is relevant for all miners that have been with us before TGE. So because they have earned bonos. So now the question is, of course, how to get the new ONOs with it. And for that, we should go to the onocoy console. Let me check to share the correct tab. So let's go to the console. On the main page, you will see the button Claim ONO. That is the BONO to ONO conversion tool. So let's click on that. Yeah, you see my BONO balance is pretty low, so I haven't been a good miner apparently, but at least I have some, so we can play around with the numbers. So you just type in how many bonus you would like to convert. And then you can see a few values. So first of all, you have this moving bar where you can see the minimum amount of ONO that you will receive if you convert in those X years. So if you convert in 3 years, 2 years, whatever. So this number is calculated just with the new unlocks of ONO that happen daily. So that means in 2 years, there will be a lot more ONOs unlocked, and the conversion rate will also change in your favor, because the more ONOs there are unlocked, the higher is the exchange rate. Now, what this calculation does not include is that other miners can still swap BONOs to ONOs in the meantime, which also benefits the exchange rate. So this is why it says it's the minimum amount of ONO. So this might be a lot higher if all your miner friends have already swapped their BONOs. So, and then you benefit from that. Then the theoretical max is the amount of ONOs you could get after all ONOs are unlocked, which would be in the far future, but it's just a theoretical value. Of course, again, this does not include the fact that other people will probably swap their BONOs to ONOs first before the end of all ONOs being unlocked. So that means this value is probably also a lot higher. Now, this is pretty straightforward. If you convert now, you will receive so many ONOs. So currently it's like at 1.5 rate. And what you're missing out on is also saying that if you convert now instead of later, you will miss out on at least now it's like 70% or so. So this tool also recommends you to wait a bit, because you will get more ONOs in a few years than now. What's important also is that you should accept the terms and conditions for GNSS reference station data providers. This is just a new TNC that we have for the miners, for example, saying it's your data, it belongs to you, that you're streaming to us. And then you can still decide if you come back later for more ONOs or you convert now anyway. Then you again have to confirm in your wallet, etc., and then you will receive those ONOs in your wallet. Yeah, that's it. Dominic, I think you're mute.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I was going to say that I hope everybody who has BONO now understood how they can do it. We have one question related to this, which is, what is when all BONO owners are waiting many years for a high swap rate?
That's great, Søren. That would be great. Yeah, sure thing. So the numbers that you just saw are just this exact case that you're drawing. So if no one swaps, then what would be the exchange rate, right? So no worries, would be great.
Okay, and I hope this was answered. Let me check if we have any other question related to this. Yes, we do actually. From earlier today or before, is there a deadline to convert BONO to ONO? No deadline.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
No deadline.
All right, then this is answered as well. Then I would say, let me check. Okay, I don't see any other open questions, so I would say we can continue with the new ONO rewards, which will be introduced by Daniel.
Sure. So now that we have the ONO and the BONO is being discontinued, so we've also reviewed a bit the rewarding and the mechanisms behind that. And there's now a new daily rate that we're issuing. So the previously on the BONO side of things, it was, I think, 6.3 BONO per day.
Yeah.
If you had 100% uptime, best signal quality, and no neighbors that would impact your rewarding through the location scale. And this is now going up to 33. And there's been a switch on Monday, and maybe I can share my screen as well just to demonstrate that.
Yes.
1 sec. So I hope you can see that. Is the screen on?
Not yet, no. Ah, wait, now I can. We'll try it again. I have to accept it. All right. There we go. Now.
So first of all, if the other button, Lucy was presenting this button. This one has been around for a while, and this would allow you to figure out how much would you earn in a open field. So if I click this one, I can drag this tool, and let's just put it somewhere into Africa. And now here it says what is the current rewards if you would be putting a station there, which used to be 6, and now it's 33. Now you multiply this by the current value of the ONO token from the exchange, and then we'll be seeing what is the fiat equivalent of what you would be earning. And I mean, those tokens that you earn this way, they have no locking vesting. So they're immediately, the moment you claim them, they're immediately there in your wallet. I can show you what has happened on Monday. This is a station that I operate, and you see I earned quite a number of bonos with that. By the way, you see here, this is the bono, and this is the number of onos in the balance of my wallet that I currently have connected. And down here, when you see the go here to the rewards, you will see that there is a jump. So in my case, I'm in the center of Zurich, and there's plenty of stations around, mostly from the other onocoy team members. So the location scale is toning me down massively, although this is pretty much a high-end receiver. But you see here this jump. Now, this jump is not because everybody else has turned off their station. This is because we switched from BONO to ONO. It's not shown here, but the 21st was still on BONOs, and from the 22nd onwards, the rewards are in ONO. And if you now claim the rewards here, and also the visuals here, so it's ONO and no longer BONO. That's essentially it. So it's a factor of 5 higher in units, but it's also a different token. And hence, from now on, it's different numbers. I think that's, in a nutshell, what has happened. I'm just checking if there's
Fair enough.
Any questions?
Not directly related to this, I would say.
Maybe there is one question from Nicholas, just the latest one.
This one here?
Yes.
Yeah.
So on Monday, there was a automated claiming from all the bonos that you had accumulated since you claimed last until that very moment when we then switched. So you should see in your wallet, you should see that there's been a transaction on Monday per station that you own, that you connect to us with the corresponding remaining bono numbers. And as far as I know, that also worked with the reward splitting feature, that this was then accordingly split. For those people who did a manual split, because they shared their tokens, you need to double check how much was actually transferred on Monday and then take the percentages that you and maybe the people that operate the station for you, whatever the percentage is that you do with them. But if you use the reward splitting feature of the platform, that has done it automatically.
Okay, then I would say we can continue. Tommy, you want to say something?
Yeah, it might be that with some wallets, bonus may not be easily visible in Phantom. This is, for instance, the case. You have to enable, I don't recall how the exact term is, but you have to enable that additional tokens are visible. For some reason, Bono might no longer be visible. That does not mean it's not there. It's a visualization thing. So go to the settings and enable it, and then you will see your bonus.
Okay. Try that. I hope that will help. Then I would say we jump to the next section. And then after the next section, we can also go more into some of the questions that are still open. So the next section would be the roadmap ahead, what is now coming post-launch. And this is something that Daniel, you and Tommy, you will be talking about. I would leave the stage for you so you guys can decide on who wants to go first and who wants to start this.
I can start. I think now with the TGE done and all the activities lined up, I mean, that still keeps us busy, but much less so than in the past. So the focus is going to switch pretty much towards making the business, accelerating the business further. And that means, on the one hand, the demand side, so that we have more customers, but also the supply side to build that out further. And I think there was one question earlier on where somebody asked if we have partnerships in the GNSS industry. Yes. So on the demand side, I mean, partnerships can be on both sides of the equation. It can be on the supply side and it can be on the demand side. On the supply side, yes, we're partnering with several different established players, people who operate networks themselves or who already had stations or hardware partners. And this is quite transparent also. There's those 6 companies who do the hardware, that's established companies who produce that, but also networks that provide their data into our system and are being rewarded in tokens. And on the demand side, equally well, we also, in the course of the TGE, we announced a few of the partnerships. One I'd like to highlight is Stargate RTK. This is a correction service provider, a traditional company which serves established markets from Luxembourg. And they're providing data services and they're using our data and other data to consolidate that and provide a seamless experience to their clients. And that's one of the partnerships that we've announced. We announced quite a few earlier on already. There's also people that we cannot really talk about because they like to stay private. Because yes, private companies don't necessarily want to disclose where they're sourcing from, but those we can talk about, we do, and we will also continue doing so in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, that's maybe a bit on the demand and supply side. And I don't know, Tommy, you probably would have some more things to say, because otherwise I'd want to talk about the ESA project for a bit, but go on.
Well, okay, if you do this, then let me just say, we're also working on building a tool that allows the user side to flag where they want to see demand supply side growth. Right now, you have probably seen that we do this on a country level and pretty manual by saying 6 countries in Asia got a 5x reward for a period of time, which actually still continues. Just to be clear, the BONO rewards, the extra rewards will be airdropped or have been airdropped. And now the same 5x applies in ONO terms until the end of September, if I'm not mistaken. So that campaign goes on. But this is a manual campaign, and that's tedious work, and it's not really flexible. And we want really the users to say, here is where it is, and not only on country level, but this area is super important, because maybe take a large country like the US. I mean, there might be brilliant coverage in New York, just to pick a random place, but Phoenix doesn't have coverage, or just, and we cannot do this on a country level. So that's why we are building this tool that will come in the coming weeks or months live, and that's an important element to steer the supply side. So that's maybe more on the technical side. One of the more important feature developments. But then what Daniel was just about to enter is obviously also a super relevant topic.
All right. One thing I just see that question, what is being done in the long term to stabilize the ONO token? And I think the answer to that lies in what we just talked about in growing the business. I mean, a DPIN is a real-world business by definition. And if you look into our white paper, into our tokenomics, you will see that there will be a buyback and burn mechanism in which the value appreciation of the token also is in correlation to the business success that we have. So what happens short term, that is speculation, that is something that happens based on people's feelings. But in the long term, this is a viable business. And as we grow, as we generate more real world business, that value will go into the token, and the long-term growth on that, the long-term stability, that will depend on this. And there we have very good trajectory. I mean, we've seen since April, business has picked up, and we are on a good growth path, I must say. So that makes us really confident. That is not immediately visible, clearly, because the daily fluctuations that happen as people buy and sell smaller or larger quantities of tokens, but the long-term fundamentals is what will ensure that stability.
Yeah.
Now, what I did want to talk about, yes, so the one project that really makes me, that triggers a passion is that project that we did announce in the course of also last week on using AI to detect spoofed GNSS measurements. This project has started in the meantime. So we're in collaboration with the European NASA. We now have experts working on training AI models to detect GPS data that fail the quality assurance tests. Now, we have many things in place already, more analytical methods to verify the quality of the data. But thanks to that, this is a whole new level, and that has not been done in that industry before. And we're solving here a topic that is of general interest, not only for our case. We want to do this anyhow because we want to ensure that the data that comes in is good and valid and not fraudulent. But this is a much bigger topic, and we have a non-dilutive grant that allows us to do so. And I mean, that's another thing. We've been highly successful in non-dilutive grants. And this money goes into developing the project further without us having to give tokens or equity or anything. This is, people pay us to do what we do. And that's a good thing. So that's I think another reason why the token must appreciate in value, because we use that money to put into work and for the benefit of the project.
Yeah. Okay, Lucy?
Yeah, I just wanted to say the guys at the University of Zurich working there are very great. I've worked with them before, and I'm also really excited for this project together with them.
Yeah, exactly. I think to summarize that now, really building the business side further and making sure that onocoy becomes a sustainable, profitable business, which is, we already see those product market fit signs very, very clearly, and building up on top of that will automatically lead to an appreciation in the token value and also in the next steps. And obviously not everything that is going on behind the back or in the background can be spilled out already now, but there's a lot of good things going on. So I'm very positive on that. Now, I would lead over to the more AMA part of this session, because we actually got quite a few of the questions. So I would just try and go from top to bottom, and obviously if you guys see something that should be answered first, or which works or suits that, I think that would be a good point in time to say that. So one question that stuck out for me is this question here: will you guys make a Dune page like GeoDNet has, where you can see the token burn and how much your monthly revenue is? Very briefly, the answer is yes, this will happen. We have already discussed that internally. Tommy, as far as I know, there is not a specific timeline right now because of the things that are going on post-TGE, all the partnerships, clarifications that are necessary. But yes, this is very much a thing that we're going to be doing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well summarized.
Okay,
yes.
so nothing to add from your side. Then a short question, just to help you on that. When I go to Connect Wallet, I assume that's probably with Streamflow. When I go to Connect Wallet, it leads me to initiate a new new account at the Phantom Wallet, but I already have an account. What is the workaround? And the answer is you have to adjust that in the Phantom Wallet. I don't have in mind how exactly it works in the Phantom Wallet. In MetaMask, you can disconnect it from a page, and I assume it's the same for Phantom, where you basically go into the settings of your Phantom Wallet and you disconnect it from the Streamflow page, I think, or you. If that's not the case, it should be in the settings of Phantom where you can adjust that in order to be able to connect it directly there. If you are in our Discord server as well, you feel free to ask that question there, because it's quite hard to answer that with just a small kind of question that you wrote. I'm not entirely sure if I got it correctly. So if you're in a Discord, feel free to ask the question there, and then we can help you as best as possible in there. Then right, there is another question. Tommy, I would leave that to you.
Wasn't it for this AMA? I would probably have completed the process, because that was the last thing I did before we started the AMA, but I didn't finish. So it's a right according.
Exactly.
But to clarify, they're not going to be listed as in tradable on those platforms. They're going to be visualized on those, and we provide the additional information needed to explain the project and what those different platforms are. But it's not a listing as in Orca listing that we can have.
Yeah, exactly.
This is also the right time to remind people that there are scams around for the ONO token. So please make sure it's the correct contract address. We have put it into the documentation, and it should be everywhere in the Telegram group, etc. So just to make sure it's the right one.
Yeah, exactly. Then there is another question. I'm not entirely sure if we can answer that or if that's even possible, but the question is, in comparison to the cost of selling data, is the price of the token cheaper or more expensive? I'm not entirely sure how you would understand that.
If I paraphrase, what I understand is, can I buy more than one data stream with what I earn for my station? And yes, the answer is yes. It's more than one station, and depends now on because of volume discounts for high volume. Actually, if you supply a lot of stations, it's obviously over proportionally many you can get. But yes, that's correct.
Okay.
There is a related question.
Probably this one, right?
This one, yes. Now, it's currently not automated because we have to do this for regulatory reason. The onocoy Association can only sell the services in data credits against fiat. Whatever we will need to see if we can offer a automatic tool through the onocoy Services AG, which would then not say contradict regulation, but that's a feature request or So currently it's not doable. You would have to go and sell the tokens and then buy.
Yeah.
We'll take it clearly. It wasn't high up during the on the agenda during TGE, but
absolutely.
Fair point.
Then, last but not least, we had a question in our Discord. I just copied it and shared it in here so everybody can read it. So thanks, Deepin Link. There is the question. Wait, you cannot see it all, right? It's not completely visible, right? Let me adjust that. So the question is basically, wait, let me just repost that in here, and then it should be fully visible, I think. Yeah, mostly. So the question is basically around if I have a station right now that is at full rating. It basically, gets them the full reward, and then somebody decides to, build a station or mount a station next to my place on their fence or something, then this will impact obviously my own rewards. Without me being, it's not my fault in that sense. And I know, Daniel, that we had this topic a couple of times, so I guess that's a good one for you. Or Lucy, if you want to say something as well.
Danny, please.
Yes, so I mean, there's not a NFT or something which will protect the first person that moves into a certain location forever or for a certain amount of time, but there is mechanisms in place, and there's a new one coming up very soon. Don't ask me when exactly, but it's going to be a matter of a few weeks.
Daniel, your mic, your sound is kind of bad right now. I don't know.
How is that?
Much better, much better.
Okay, my microphone stand is a bit shaky. So there is a mechanism that we are going to roll out, which is we call streak appreciation, which means for a continuous availability of your data, your rewarding will go up as long as you keep that running. And that is an advantage over the earlier people towards people who just join in new. Everything is anyhow rated by signal quality. So if somebody was first with a relatively low quality piece of equipment or with bad sky visibility, that's not going to impact that. And a better, newer station, better installation can override a subpar installation from your neighbor. Whilst if it's a good quality station, then that streak appreciation method will continue to amplify that you've been there first, as long as you keep it up and running. Mm-hmm. We'll inform about that in due course. I'm actually not sure whether this is days or weeks or maybe a month out. At the moment, it's summer holiday season over here. So the tech team is a bit on a reduced rate, but I'm pretty sure in the early autumn timeframe, this will roll out.
Yeah. Okay, then I hope Deepen Link that question was answered. Feel free to obviously drop it or follow up questions in the Discord, and then we'll try to answer it there. And I don't see anything that we missed, so I would say we close it off for today. We've been pretty much exactly 1 hour, which is good because that's what we were aiming for. I hope that was helpful for everybody in there joining us. We have quite a few people in here, which is obviously good to see. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for supporting onocoy. It's a very exciting time for us, I think, and it's important that we keep you guys informed. Although we're heads down building, heads down continuing to work on a variety of things to make sure that onocoy is able to be a sustainable long-term business. So thanks for your support. And thanks especially obviously for Lucy, Daniel, and Tommy for joining and providing your detailed insights and your answers. And with that, I wish you a very great rest of your day, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. Have a great time. Take care and stay with us.